So as a person with hypovolemic POTS, my specific subtype of POTS is called hypovolemic POTS. This is blood pooling. It is a symptom of hypovolemic POTS. You can see my veins are bulging, my hand is dark red. It's getting better now that my hand is lifted up. That is because all of the blood is literally just filling and pooling all together in my arms. That happens in my legs as well, especially. When you hear about people with POTS, postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, by the way, for those that don't know, if you hear about some people with POTS, how they'll stand up and then they either feel like they're about to pass out, like their vision will start to fade black, they'll get ringing in their ears, feel kind of like dizzy. That is pre-syncope, where you feel like you're about to pass out. Syncope is passing out. So people with hypovolemic POTS like me tend to experience pre-syncope and syncope, almost passing out, because of that hypovolemia. So all of our blood that is in our brain, as I'm sitting here right now, or laying down even better, when I go to stand up, all of my blood drops down to my legs and into my arms and my hands. That video was just a few minutes ago in the shower. So my blood pooling tends to be really bad, and especially hot showers. If I take a hot shower, my arms will turn purple, and they will swell and get all fat. And see how my veins are like flat now again? Because my veins aren't filled with all of the fucking blood that's supposed to be in my brain. But yeah, that's what causes people with hypovolemic POTS to pass out when they stand up, is the blood that's supposed to be giving you oxygen and giving you pilot over the meat suit is just taken away, and all of that blood goes down. So then your brain's kind of like, oh shit, can't brain right now, and so it just kind of factory resets in a way, or it tries to, because it kind of has to. That's what can cause the dizziness, and then the vision going out, and the ears ringing, and your face kind of going numb, feeling like TV static, and then you hitting the floor. Another characteristic trait of hypovolemic POTS is constantly peeing a whole lot. Being very, very thirsty, which is why for hypovolemic POTS it's recommended that you have a lot of sodium, so extra salt. When I saw my cardiologist and I got diagnosed with postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, he told me, as a cardiologist, I tend to tell all my patients, stay away from sodium, stay away from salt. But for you, up the salt. Get all the salt. And fluids to go with the salt, obviously. That's the thing. Hypovolemic POTS, meaning hypo, low, volemic, volume. And it's for blood volume. So hypovolemia is low blood volume. So I don't have enough blood in my body, and the blood I do have is allergic to gravity. So when I go up, it go down, and then I also go down. Compression garments, so corsets, compression stocks, better yet, those suits that they make the military train in for gravitational, the G-force suits, that would be fantastic. But compression stuff, because it keeps the blood up here and helps prevent it from going down, because if everything's all tight down here, it makes it harder for the blood to pool, like how it was pooling in my arms and how it pools in my legs. It makes it harder to pool when you've got compressing. I didn't understand why when they first diagnosed me with POTS and they put me on beta blockers, the beta blockers kind of messed me up and didn't really help too much. It made my blood pressure tank, it worsened my asthma, but it did help with the tachycardia. I couldn't understand why I didn't feel as good, though, as other people with beta blockers, and that's because beta blockers tend to better help people with hyperadrenergic POTS, which is for a different video, a different subtype of POTS. For me, some people with hypovolemic POTS do benefit from beta blockers. Not this one. So yeah, just compression, salt, and fluids, and rest, with also balancing, how much you don't rest and exercise moderately, mostly walking. Those are pretty much the only treatments. There is no known cure currently. Another thing to mind is eating too much or not eating enough, because with the blood pooling in hypovolemic POTS, when you eat a whole lot, blood has to go to your digestive system to digest your food. So if you eat too much blood will pool, and that can exacerbate your POTS symptoms. Not eating enough will also exacerbate your POTS symptoms. Your GI tract and everything, you're not getting the right amount of blood in the right amount of places at the right amount of times. Causes a whole lot of issues all over in general, not just with your brain and feeling dizzy and passing out or almost passing out sometimes. It affects your whole body. And compared to a lot of the other subtypes of POTS, hypovolemic POTS is one of the main ones that most commonly coincides other conditions like Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, because the issue with hypovolemic POTS also tends to be an issue with the structure of the connective tissue, which is your blood vessels, your veins, your arteries, and whatnot, because your veins and arteries have to be what constrict down there to push your blood back up to your brain. So with hypovolemia, your blood's dropping down here, and a lot of the time that can be an issue of the connective tissue, those arteries, blood vessels, not doing their job because there's a connective tissue disorder preventing them from constricting and pushing the blood flow back up to your brain. So hypovolemic POTS tends to be similar to secondary POTS, where it can be caused by things like a connective tissue disorder, like Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Yeah, that's a really brief layman rundown of hypovolemic POTS, the specific subtype of POTS that I personally experience and suffer with. I am not a doctor. This is just me as a patient explaining my own condition the best way I can. Hope you enjoyed. I hope this helps.